Hare Kṛṣṇa. So when there is an office meeting, any meeting for that matter, there's always an agenda. And when that agenda is getting discussed, there'll be some people, they'll take the discussion in some different direction. And the person who is heading the meeting, he will say, come back to the agenda. This is not the agenda for today. Come back to the agenda. And then the entire meeting goes very smooth. So in this way, the meetings are held professionally. The meetings are held very nice, very productive. And there are some productive outcomes. There are some substantial outcomes of those meetings because people stick to the agenda of that meeting. Similarly, when we are sitting to chant, let's ask this question, what's the agenda? It's a meeting, right? It's a meeting. We have blocked our calendar that these 2 hours I'm sitting for chanting. So what's the agenda? Chanting. Okay, so agenda is chanting. So why am I thinking about various things around? If agenda is chanting, then I should chant. I should hear. Chant and hear, chant and hear. But you see, the mind will take us for a ride. It will take everywhere. Mind is that one person in that meeting where it will take us to different directions. This, that. So at that time, we should ask this question to the mind. What's the agenda? And the answer should come as agenda. Now when I'm sitting and chanting, agenda is chanting. And if agenda is chanting, so chanting is that important thing, then why am I deviating here and there? So pull back the mind saying, what's the agenda? Agenda is chanting. So let me chant. Let me not get into various different things. Because the meeting will be successful. The meeting will be productive. Some substantial outcome will come from the meeting when we stick to the agenda for that particular time. Can you imagine? Like any other corporate professional, we block our calendar every day for 2 hours and we sit for chanting. And during that chanting, it's very important that we stick to the agenda of the meeting. And what's the agenda? Agenda is chanting. Therefore, when that entity called mind, when that person called mind pulls the discussion in some other direction other than the agenda, we have to pull back saying, what's the agenda? Therefore, today's Japa motivation is that when we are chanting, and when the mind is taking us for a ride here and there, we ask the mind, what's the agenda? Agenda is chanting. Just focus. And we should also have this in the back of the mind that if I don't stick to the agenda, this meeting, which I have for 2 hours, is not going to be productive. There will not be any substantial outcome. Therefore, we pray to the Lord that, oh Lord, please help me. Please help me to have a successful meeting sticking to the agenda of chanting effectively, chanting attentively. Therefore, we have to just focus on chanting clearly, hearing attentively, and yes, moving the beats and offering prayers. So in this way, today's motivation for Japa or Japa motivation is, what's the agenda? Hare Kṛṣṇa.